Hello everybody, this is Mark. I am the Smarties Lyft driver and shameless fan of the millennial generation. Driving for Lyft. I'm in Southern California tonight. It's a Friday night, taking a little bit of a break after the rush hour. But and a couple of quick stories from the road that I wanted to share with you guys. I have a backlog. I have notebooks of different stories that really piqued my curiosity or blew me away as I met these young people while I drove them around on Lyft. And this one goes back to early in my Lyft career, but while I was really struggling with technology, texting drove me nuts. I still am not a big texter, but at any rate, I have learned quite a bit about its place in the world today. And I was really put in my place. I was taking two young ladies named Jen and Laura to a premiere, and what made them very unique and you know a definite piqued my curiosity and my interest was the fact that they were, I believe, writer and actor in a web TV series called Her Story, and it's about dating in Los Angeles with a unique twist. I asked if I should watch it, and they said, you know, maybe you might check it out, but it might not be something you're comfortable with. And I haven't gone there yet, but who knows? But the cool part about the discussion was, because we had some time in the road, we were talking about interpersonal communication. And Jen was sitting in the front seat, and Laura was in the back. And we were talking about, I expressed a little bit of concern at younger people today, losing the interpersonal communication skills of conversation, face-to-face discussion, and interaction. And it was interesting. And Jen basically said, and I said, and the amount of texting really concerned me that this skill would be lost in the younger generation. Well, Jen was very quick to point out to me. She goes, Mark, I hate to tell you this, but texting is interpersonal communication. And I was like, she's absolutely right. It's interpersonal communication. She goes, it's just not the one you like. Ouch. And she was dead on the money. She goes, in fact, something that you probably don't realize is when you were our age, you would probably go through a day and maybe you'd have many days that you didn't use 5,000 words. She goes, but studies show now that young people are communicating at the highest level of any time in human history, primarily because of texting. The number of words used, the number of messages used, the number of communications made, it far exceeds at any other time in human history. And it kind of blew me away, and it made me open my eyes. This was another one of those whoa moments when I was in my Lyft career, that I thought, this job is so cool because of the people that I'm interacting with and learning from. So the conversation was really enjoyable. And she said, and if you stop and think, she goes, you will see the world's changing, and there will be a point where people who have the interpersonal communication skill that you obviously think is important and possess will be needed in industry. There's a lot of jobs for where that's needed, but there's also a lot of jobs now, especially with tech, to where interpersonal, face-to-face, verbal communication is not necessary. And those who are more comfortable using the written word and text will be able to use that as their form of communication. So, pretty good lesson learned. And then she shared with me a story, because she goes, things have changed so much. Really what's changed is the amount of information and the way that we share information and the way we're exposed to information. But she goes, if you think about it, humankind hasn't changed so much. She told me about this article that she had just read, and it was about a tablet that was discovered in Syria. And this was about 1.5 years ago. And they dated the tablet back to about 3,000 years before the time of Christ. So 5,000 years ago. And I've always joked about, grandparents and the elderly always come, those damn kids will never amount to nothing. Well, you know what? It hasn't changed. as they evaluated what was said on that tablet by this person in the community that actually paid to have somebody write it, he was complaining about his son who didn't want to join the family business because he wanted to hang out with his friends. Things don't change too much, do they? That goes on a lot now, doesn't it? And I think it shows that people are really much the same. It's the conditions that surround us are the things that are very, very different. So with that little tidbit, I don't know if I'm ready for her story. Maybe you are, but another amazing story that I got a chance to meet two very unique, successful, and interesting young people that are shaping the world. Again, captains and future mistresses of industry is what makes this gig so very, very cool. So that's tonight's or this episode of, or an episode of another story from the road. So I hope our paths with Jen and Laura do cross again, because it really made an impression upon me. And one of the things that I begrudgingly have to admit, I learn something new every single night from these kids, young people, young professionals, amazing humans. So at any rate, make it a great day. Don't wait for something good to happen to shape your day. Go out and make it a good day. And thanks very much. I look forward to hearing any comments you might have, or telling me to give it up, because these aren't going to get any better. The quality, this is it. And there's not much behind the content either, I imagine. So God bless and take care.